Pokemon VGC is dead, and it's because of Wolfe Glick. Don't let anyone lie and tell you otherwise. This video will prove it.
But Verlisify's wrong. We just had a record event for Pokemon VGC. 1,400 people at the Pokemon European Championships.
Well, they're already, really desperate to stretch the numbers if you're including senior and junior division, which actually did not grow over the last year. So it's 1,250 people in Pokemon VGC for Master Division. That's kind of the only number that really counts. Problem, flashbang warning as well. Pokemon has sold 26 million units for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So we have the fastest selling Pokemon games ever, and likely the highest selling Pokemon games ever in the first 3 years, and all we can get is 1,250 competitors. Where does that put us compared to other tournaments like EVO? Congratulations, Pokemon VGC is at the same level of Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. That is how niche Pokemon competitive is. But there might be some hope, because we are twice as popular as Undernight In-Birth 2, Sis Celeste. Now, I showed this at the beginning of the video. We got 13,000 people for the Global Challenge 2025 number 2. That's gotta mean something, right? No, it actually proves that VGC is dead. So, once you go outside of Japan, and then you have the handful of cheaters that made it kind of to the top, it's all Japanese players. And it's actually crazy how, it's only Japanese players playing and competing in the Pokemon games these days. But it's been like that for all of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That was kind of the crazy thing of wow, competitive Pokemon is immediately dead in the West. Playing in December, it's 2% of players on the in-game ladder are English players. And then you look at the rankings and it's overwhelmingly Japanese players. What do we give the scenario? 10% English players, 10% Western players, because we also have Chinese players and some other languages and stuff. Europe has some representations, 15% of 13,000. It's 2,000 players for an online event that has no entry restrictions, because international is going to have the highest draw because most championship points, largest venue, and prize money. We're also going to see how the North American International Championship goes, but that's a couple of months off. And the thing is, Worlds doesn't really count, so you can't be but EVO's a larger event, that's the Worlds for some people. Yeah, but Worlds isn't open for Pokemon. And this year, it's worse, because instead of a championship point cutoff, it's actually you need to be in the top 75 of players for championship points, or else you don't get a Worlds invite. Which is actually another nail in the coffin. Flashbang warning again. Because global challenges are more important than ever. That's you only get 20 championship points for top 1,000? Well, at least 2,000 people are entering, so yeah, you actually get 1,000th out of 13,000 players, which isn't hard to do at all, and then you get 20 championship points. So even as one of the worst performing global challenge, you barely even gave it any effort because you don't have time. Well, that can actually be the difference between making Worlds or not, because you need to have more championship points than the other person. And if you do a top 500 or top 200 3 times, that's 150 points. That actually matters significantly. So more people should be entering these global challenges than ever before if VGC is thriving and has a large competitive scene. Because now, this actually matters. Actually, Pokemon International attendance is completely fake because it's a best finish limit of 5 shared with regionals and special championships. So you have to go to every internationals or you have no shot at Worlds. Or you at least have to go to multiple of them, so every competitor in NA is going to go to Europe to get the championship points they need, or else they do not go to Worlds. Also, the pool of money laundering has been super inflated, so that's going to raise attendance naturally right there, and maybe convert 10 Wolf fans at it for every event, where they're yeah, I'll make a team and I'll try to win some money, even though they just get completely curb stomped out of it because they are trying to be honest, legitimate players following someone evil and a cheater like Wolfe Glick. It's not going to end well. Now, fortunately, in Pokemon Home, we can go back to Generation 8, and we can see the same time frame. We have Global Challenge 2022, so Year 3 of Pokemon Sword and Shield versus Year 3 of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then we have the online challenge that directly rewards for VGC. So, take your guesses. 10,000, VGC has clearly grown, especially with Wolfe Glick getting more popular. So, 13,000, maybe it's the exact same right now. 43,000. So, VGC has shrunk by 30,000 players over the course of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is why these attendance numbers don't mean crap. Cool, you have the same cheaters stealing prize money from each other that you've always had, and then you just have a couple of newbies that don't realize they're getting farmed, and they're showing up just because, yeah, it's an international event you can just show up to in a large city or a centralized European area. Same thing for North America. And like this is your proof right here. And I thought 42,000 players at the end of Pokemon Sword and Shield was bad because we saw beginning of Pokemon Sword and Shield, entrance was pretty good. Looks like VGC was kind of bouncing up and would maybe hold it. But no, it completely cratered. So this is the cratering at the end of Sword and Shield where everyone's like, yeah, it's GG. So let's compare late stage Pokemon Sword and Shield Milwaukee Regionals, 179 players. So 43,000 participants in the Global Challenge, translating to around, actually not even around, just less than 200 players. So we have same thing for Year 1 Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it's actually got 563. And then we have Baltimore at 646. So there's a weird thing where no one's playing the game, but more cheaters have come in to steal prize money because the prize support has gone up. That's really all that's happening here. Let's actually go back for Pokemon Sword and Shield because this is later. Global Challenge Spring, that's May. So let's go back to International Challenge March. Excuse me? 304,000 players in Pokemon Sword and Shield for 2022? Surely that was just a mistake, and we need to go to the February International Challenge with 327,000 players. Oh hey, and look at that, we got a top VGC player there, and if we actually go back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, oh, there's our cheater at 3rd place. Isn't Pokemon healthy? Let's see what other events are going on. So, yeah, it's Team Star Challenge, that's going to be 14,000. So, Japan, they're just having fun. They'll actually play Pokemon. That's also singles. So you're thinking oh yeah, Pokemon singles. Alright, Global Challenge 2023 number 1, 60,000. So, the start of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet looking a bit healthier than the end of Pokemon Sword and Shield, but then we can just see, the cratering of, despite Wolfe's rise in popularity and the Pokemon Company giving him more and more features than ever, VGC is more dead than ever. Hey, Lin VGC. It's just oh, you can just kind of see, how small it is, where it's yep, it's all the same cheaters floating to the top, and then the rest are Japanese players. Fun. What a healthy and alive scene we have. Lin VGC is the 2023 Liverpool finalist that got dinged by Kurt. Kitakami Prologue, 27,000. All Japanese players because it's non-VGC. Actually, all Japanese players. That's freaking crazy. So yeah, you can't find any players on the ladder. And then if you actually go into the battle stadium, you can actually really get a feel for how inactive it is. So make it make sense. Record attendance at an international event, which is lower than any Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. So that's another thing you don't consider. It's oh, Yu-Gi-Oh has no prize support, and it's more expensive to get into, and there's just much higher barriers to entry on difficulty and time investment. They just do it for the love of the game, and you can get them to turn out in twice the amount of numbers as VGC players. And then we can check out the Pokemon YouTube channel where we see the vast difference, where top 4 150k with Wolfe, also Chupa Cross. So we have 2 OGs 150k, but then the finals is going to be 506k. So people don't even care about some kind of top 4 showdown. And then no Wolfe Glick, that's 16k. So it also shows Marco. Wait, the same Marco? And then we can also see all the international championships he's stolen. So yeah, it's all just a big cheater cabal. The Pokemon Company lets their friends cheat. No one else stands a chance. Oh, and we also have Texas Regional Champion Giovanni Costa. So ignoring every one of these players being cheaters, We have one of the most stacked top 4s ever for storylines where it's like, bro, this is practically like worlds level hype. This is like when you have all the 4 gods of Melee that are active at the time where it's like, yo, it's Mango versus Armada versus Leffen versus Hungrybox in top 4. That's going to be like the most hype thing ever. I guess it's missing Joseph Ugart, but still, like, this is a very stacked top 4. Also, hilarious thing about Joe is that he's the one that started the team sheets, where he would share the rental team without a code and say, yeah, this is the team sheet, because he doesn't want his team getting data mined by Kurt and then proving he's a cheater. And how could we forget the Tang Gang? I guess there is some poetry in the world where Wolf didn't make it to Day 2 Worlds because Shiliang cheated. So the Tang brothers are cheaters. What prize are they stealing? Knoxville, Fort Wayne, San Antonio champion. And then same thing, we're just like, no care, no traction, no attention, unless it's Wolfe Glick. And then the corruption of the Pokemon Company to just milk it for all it's worth is actually insane. Oh, dude, that's also crazy because this is still about Wolf. And if it doesn't have Wolf in the thumbnail, it's not going to perform. That's wild. So yeah, despite the attention that Wolf gives Pokemon, even though Wolf has only gotten that popularity because of all the features from the Pokemon Company and the incredible amount of support from the largest franchise in the world, it hasn't generated anything back for Pokemon. And then the YouTube algorithm turboing his channel from the attention, also him fraudulently leveraging his World Championship title that he had 9 years ago. He only won because he had a team of Pokemon with impossible to humanly obtain stats, and then just kind of took it to the bank and lied about it all the way, and then the Pokemon Company kind of throwing in the support. So you do get that algorithm feedback loop, and then the result is none of Wolf's fans care about competitive Pokemon. That's crazy. 6 million subscribers over the years, and there's no Pokemon fans left. What a tragedy. Made even worse that, like, the person they propped up is just getting special treatment and favoritism by the Pokemon Company because he's friends with people inside of it. We also saw with Ray Rizzo. Ray Rizzo gets caught hacking Dream Ball Aegislash, lying about it on Facebook, gets hired by the Pokemon Company because Cybertron, who also hacked all his Pokemon back in Generation 5, ended up working for Pokemon, looks out for all of his friends. We got corrupt entities like Scott Glaza and whoever else is working for the Pokemon Company, just kind of fueling all of this, and then the result is actually crap. So competitive Pokemon's dead, and there's not really any interaction with Pokemon either, and that's because the poster child is an evil liar, cheater, and thief who also supported a self-admitted abuser. All the Pokemon Company has to do is ban Wolf and all the cheaters like any other sport or competitive game has ever done throughout the entirety of history. Like, it's crazy how it's only Pokemon that is this corrupt. People can say, like, steroid stuff inside of sports and stuff, but those athletes eventually do get punished. Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame. Lance Armstrong lost everything, and even in the UFC, if someone gets dinged hard enough, they're toast. Sometimes it's like, yeah, everyone knows that everyone is on something, but we've had it where, like, Wolf is a proven cheater. He got caught red-handed. He did not piss clean, and then he's still allowed to compete and cheat, as well as, like, all these other top players, like, every top player in VGC. So you just remove them, and then Pokemon will grow to heights we've never seen before. But then the Pokemon Company money laundering to friends scheme doesn't work anymore. That's like the crazy thing. This has to be illegal, right? That a tournament organizer is letting certain individuals cheat and disadvantage others, like just breaking their own rules for tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. And then also the Pokemon Company international corruption to cover this up from Game Freak. And we can prove it's a cover-up because it happened, like, we go to Worlds in Japan, and then we see record disqualifications like never before. Go back to America, and it just kind of goes away. How they were able to keep lying to the Pokemon Company and Game Freak after 2023 Worlds is crazy. And now we got Pokemon champions, but, like, what's the point? So all the people that have cheated for over a decade, like Wolfe Glick, they just get away with it, and they get rewarded even more? No, that's not how it works. You gotta permanently ban all the cheaters, everyone caught at Worlds. Them's the rules. That's how all competition works. And then, again, Pokemon will grow like we've never seen before. So there you go, guys. Pokemon's dead. If you've been feeling like, yeah, no one's really playing Pokemon or talking, like, there's zero engagement going on, despite record attendance or Wolfe Glick being so popular. No, you're not wrong. It's actually just that bad. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.